You've been told your whole life that rest is the reward for work. Finish the project, then rest. Crush the quarter, then take a vacation. Exhaust yourself completely, and you've earned the right to stop. But here's what nobody tells you. That belief is incomplete. It's actually backwards, and it's costing you everything you're trying to build. Most high performers I talk to have the same problem. They believe rest is the opposite of productivity. They think ambition means constant motion. They see sleep, stillness, and receptivity as obstacles to overcome, not tools to use. So they push harder. They sacrifice sleep. They fill every hour with doing, deciding, optimizing, controlling. They treat their mind and body like machines that can run indefinitely without fuel. And for a while it works. They get results. They feel productive. They feel in control. Then something breaks. They hit a wall. Their decisions become shallow. Their creativity dries up. They start making the same mistakes repeatedly. They feel burned out but can't stop because stopping feels like failure. Their ambition has become a trap. I know you've tried pushing through. I know you've told yourself that this is what success requires. And I know that deep down you're asking, why doesn't it feel like it's working anymore? The real reason isn't what you think. You think the problem is that you're not pushing hard enough, or that you need better systems, or that you need to optimize even more. But that's only the surface. Here's what's actually happening. You're confusing motion with direction. You're mistaking effort for effectiveness. And most importantly, you're blocking the one thing that actually makes high achievement possible. That thing is what the ancient Taoists called yin energy. Now, before you dismiss this as mystical or soft, let me be direct. This isn't philosophy. This is neuroscience wearing ancient language. When you're in constant doing mode, your brain is stuck in sympathetic activation. That's your fight or flight nervous system. It's designed to help you handle immediate threats. It gets you through the crisis. It gives you the burst of energy. But it's not designed to run continuously. Your parasympathetic nervous system, that's the rest and digest mode, is where the real intelligence lives. It's where your brain actually processes complex problems. It's where your body repairs itself. It's where your intuition gets loud enough to hear. Neuroscience calls it the default mode network. When you're not forcing focus on anything, that's when your brain makes its most creative connections. That's when solutions appear without you trying. That's when clarity breaks through. The Taoists knew this 2,500 years ago. They didn't have fMRI machines, but they understood something we've forgotten. Force creates resistance. Relaxed receptivity creates flow. Yin isn't passive. This is the hidden reason most people get this wrong. Yin is active receptivity. It's the power of your nervous system when it's not in fight mode. It's your capacity to notice what's trying to reach you. It's the intelligence that emerges when you stop forcing and start listening. When you're in yin mode, you're still working, you're still thinking, you're still creating. But you're doing it from a different place. You're not pushing the river, you're flowing with it. Here's the problem. Most ambitious people have built their entire identity around yang. Doing, pushing, forcing, controlling, grinding. They've been rewarded for it. They've gotten results. But yang without yin is like acceleration without steering. You're moving fast, but you might be heading the wrong direction. You're productive, but you're not effective. You're busy, but you're not building anything that lasts. Most founders I know who burned out didn't burn out from working on the right thing. They burned out from working on the wrong thing with maximum intensity for too long. The ones who actually built something sustainable, they worked less, but they rested strategically. They built receptivity into their day. They learned to recognize when they were forcing and when they were flowing. And here's what shocked them. The work got better. Decisions improved. Creativity accelerated. Problems that seemed impossible suddenly had obvious solutions. This is what Taoism means by Wu Wei, effortless action, not laziness, not passivity, but action that emerges from alignment rather than force. Let me make this concrete. I want you to notice something right now. Feel your shoulders. Are they tense? Feel your jaw. Feel your breathing. Notice how tension is present even when you're just sitting and listening. This is what constant yang does. Your body has learned to never relax because you've taught it that stopping equals failure. But that tension is actually blocking your intelligence. Your best thinking doesn't happen in contraction. It happens in openness. The cost of skipping yin is higher than you realize. First, there's the obvious cost: burnout, exhaustion, health problems. But that's not even the deepest damage. The deeper cost is that you're solving problems from a contracted state. You're making decisions from a depleted nervous system. You're creating from a place of scarcity, not abundance. So even when you succeed, the success feels hollow. It didn't come from your best thinking. It came from your most desperate pushing. Second, you're training your intuition to ignore itself. Intuition emerges in yin states. That quiet knowing that something isn't right or that this is the direction to go, that only gets loud when your nervous system is calm enough to hear it. Most high performers have trained themselves to ignore this voice. They override it with more doing. So by the time they realize they were heading the wrong direction, years have passed. Third, you're cutting yourself off from the source of real innovation. Creativity doesn't happen in force. It happens in play. It happens in the spaces between effort. It happens when your mind is allowed to wander and make unexpected connections. But you can't wander if you're grinding. You can't play if you're in survival mode. You can't receive if you're constantly pushing out. Now here's where it gets interesting. This isn't about working less. It's about working differently. The highest performers I know, the founders, the artists, the athletes who actually sustain excellence, they've figured something out. Yin isn't a break from work. It's a mode of work. They've integrated receptivity into their day. They rest between sprints. They create space for their subconscious to work on problems. They've learned to recognize when they're forcing and when they're flowing. And they've built their schedules around that rhythm, not against it. They sleep 8 hours instead of 5, not because they're lazy, but because they know that sleep is where the brain consolidates learning and solves problems. That's not rest from work. That's part of the work. They block time for nothing. Time with no meetings, no emails, no agenda. Just thinking time. Or not thinking time. That's not a luxury. That's infrastructure for effectiveness. They move their bodies intentionally, not to punish themselves or earn the right to rest, but because movement from a relaxed state, yoga, tai chi, walking, actually clarifies thinking better than sitting and grinding. They meditate or sit in silence, not because they're spiritual, but because their nervous system needs to recalibrate. When you're parasympathetically activated, the intelligence that emerges is sharper than anything you could force. They say no to most opportunities, not because they lack ambition, but because they know that yin requires spaciousness. Too many yang demands will collapse the balance, and you're back in the trap. This changes everything about how you think about productivity. You're not trying to do more. You're trying to work from a different state. You're trying to access the intelligence that's already in you, but that you've been too contracted to hear. The yin principle says, the power isn't in your effort. The power is in your alignment. When you're aligned with what's actually trying to happen, with the natural momentum of a situation, with your own intuition, with the flow of reality, then effort becomes effortless. You stop forcing your way through problems and instead notice the path that was always there. You stop exhausting yourself trying to control outcomes and instead guide the natural unfolding. You stop burning out and instead build something sustainable because you're working with reality, not against it. This is what separates people who achieve their goals and then collapse from people who achieve them and feel energized. One group is using only yang. They're running on willpower and force, and it runs out. The other group has learned to access yin. They're running on alignment and flow, and it doesn't run out. So here's the real question. You need to ask yourself, where is your yang excess actually sabotaging you? Where are you forcing something that's meant to unfold naturally? Where are you grinding on a problem that would solve itself if you stepped back for a day? Where are you moving so fast that you can't hear the quiet intelligence trying to reach you? The integration of yin and yang isn't about doing less. It's about being more intelligent with your effort. It's about working in rhythm instead of at maximum capacity all the time. It's about recognizing that the space between breaths is as important as the breathing itself. That rest isn't the opposite of productivity. It's the prerequisite for it. And when you finally understand this, when you actually feel the difference between creating from a contracted state and creating from an open state, you realize that everything you've been pushing for was always going to be easier if you just learned to receive it. That's not weakness, that's wisdom, and it's available to you right now. If this helped, hit like, subscribe, and keep it simple. See you tomorrow.